Hey guys, Whiskey here, bringing you another Path of Titans video, and it's gameplay on Arazoa, as usual. And this video is kind of a public service announcement, and I don't know, it's a video I'm trying to do to help people survive and deal with less tickets and rule breaks. Noticed there's a lot of new players coming in, which is great. I love seeing the new players, and most of the new players are really great, and they like to learn, and they're learning the rules, and they're navigating the rule book, and they're playing and getting used to all the rules, because they can get quite involved, and they're having a good time in a realism server, which I love to see. I love to interact with a lot of you guys, and I appreciate everybody that gives me props in local chat when they see me, and it's pretty cool to see the community growing. But one thing that comes with that is these more toxic players, players that are really rude and just kind of audacious, and just go around making demands of others, and they're people that have clearly not even taken the time to understand the rules. Some of these people, these players here that I was dealing with in these DASPs, I don't even think they've even bothered to open the rule book, and it's really annoying, and it's toxic, and it's disruptive to our gameplay. You know, a lot of us like to get in here and play and enjoy the realism and the fair gameplay and the combat that goes on, and we're following the rules. And there's these players that I don't know where these players get this from, but like they I'm a Rex, and it's mandatory actually for me to be territory challenging these DASPs, and so I'm following the rules. And these players, instead of following the rules, they're location dropping me in local. They're telling me that I can't territory challenge them, which it's actually mandatory that I do territory challenge them. And they want to create this whole toxic argument in chat about it. And it's just silly, because it all results from them simply not even reading the rules. And I really think it's a responsibility for all of us to be reading the rules. If you're going to play on a community server that has a rule book, then you need to play by the rule book. That's the whole purpose of it. That's why we're all here, is so that we can have a fun and fair gameplay experience and be immersed in the realism that can come with the server. And when you've got players that want to do this kind of nonsense, where they have, for some reason, these players believe that I'm not allowed to territory challenge them, which is completely opposite of what the rule says. So I don't know if they're reading rules from some other server that they're trying to apply to this server, or somebody's just told them this maybe, and they've never bothered to even open the rule book. And it's actually, it's disruptive, and it's actually, harmful to the experience of us players that are trying to follow the rules, and we're trying to play fairly. You get these types of players that are just very rude and toxic, and they're breaking rules all the while accusing me of breaking rules, and it's just really annoying. And it's happening quite frequently with a number of different players. I don't know if these players all hang out together or what the deal is, but I've noticed it recently, and it just shows that they're not even bothering to open the rules and read them. They're not even giving us a minimal effort of trying to understand the rules. I mean, if you're going to come to Grand Plains, which is a known hotspot, you should know the territory rules, you should know the profiles of the dinosaurs, and you should have a real good grasp on the rules. If you don't, then you shouldn't be going to a hotspot, and then let alone you shouldn't be making demands and telling people that they're rule breaking. It's a funny thing, but usually, you'll see these players constantly chatting in local chat and also in X chat, and they're always accusing everybody else of rule breaking, when really they're the ones that are breaking the rules. It's kind of a funny thing, but it's something that I've noticed, and it's just kind of silly. Like you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to, really have these hard lessons to learn, when all you really had to do was open the rule book. But instead, like in this case of these two players, they end up both dying because they want to attack me. I mean, first of all, they changed a territory contest into a hunt, which is not allowed. They were location dropping me in local. They're being toxic by accusing me of rule breaking when I'm not. I'm actually following my mandatory behavior. They're going on and on and on, not only in local chat but also in X chat about this interaction. It's totally toxic. I mean, there's 3 or 4 rules that they've broken already at this point in time. And then they end up deciding to hunt me, which is actually perfect because I was hungry and I needed to hunt anyways. But anytime I got near them, they would just run away. So I decided to territory challenge them and get them out of the area because I didn't want them lingering around. These types of players are the types that'll linger around in GP and they'll wait for me to get into a territory contest with another Rex, and they'll wait for me to get low, and then they'll take 2 bites and kill me, and then be like, yes, I'm the great winner, I killed the Rex, when they didn't even do any work. They just bit me once and killed me. So I know they're hovering around trying to do that kind of stuff. The way they're behaving, I can tell they're this type of player. So I just want them out of the area. So I 3-call them, give them a chance to leave. They don't leave. They want to hunt me. Perfect. I need to eat. Obviously, you can see my hunger here. So I end up killing one. The other one still continues to attack me even though his friend's body's down, which is another kind of toxic behavior, but whatever. And then as he's leaving now with a hair of health, you'll see that he gets attacked by a pack of Utahs and ends up dying by a pack of Utahs. So it's sad, and I feel bad because like one of those 2 players probably was just following the direction of the other one that had no clue what they were doing, but acting as if they were an expert, and it got them both killed. And it's just unfortunate. So like I say, read the rules, know the rules, and it'll save your life. It'll save your friend's life too. It'll save you a whole bunch of time growing dinosaurs over and over again. And this particular player here kept coming back. Like they get on another dinosaur and come back to the area to try to fight me again, which is also another rule break. But it's just a silly thing. I saw him die on about 4 different dinosaurs. That same player. All came back to GP 4 different times, died every time, and now they're outgrowing 4 dinosaurs, all the while never even bother to open the rulebook in the first place. So anyway, don't be that kind of player is my recommendation. Really try to have a good grasp on the rules before you come to GP and start barking orders at people. It's rude and disrespectful and toxic, and it's just behavior that we should avoid. This player here, this is an example of another player that's new, but this person is just a normal new player. They're not being toxic at all. They're just learning. They're doing their best to fight another T-Rex, but at the very beginning of the engagement, they didn't understand the calls, the basic calls that are supposed to be made to engage a territory contest. They were doing 4 calls and love calls and growls and broadcasts and everything but the actual 3 call or the threat call that they were supposed to do. So I kind of had an idea that they were new, so I was really careful here in this fight, and they weren't being toxic. They weren't doing anything in low goal. They weren't doing nothing like that. And then right here when they're trying to forfeit, they're just doing the normal growl. And I don't know this for sure, but I kind of have a hunch that they thought that was a 4 call or a forfeit call. And that might be the forfeit call on some other servers or whatever. But I have an idea that they're new. Again, they weren't being toxic or rude in chat or anything. So I just let them go. I figure, you know what, I think they're forfeiting. They just don't know the calls. So I've got another video I just posted out there. Actually, it's called Arazoa Calls for Beginners. Check that out if you don't know. It's just a real 3-minute quick one that explains how to do the calls. So right after I fought that Rex, the whole time I noticed that these 2 dasps were lingering around, and now it is, again, my mandatory behaviors is to, I have to territory challenge these 2. So even though I'm really low on health here, I'm just following my mandatory behavior. And again, these 2 players, they're different than the other 2 dasps, but they're saying the same thing. What are you doing? You're not allowed to do it. They're accusing me of RBing again. It's like, this is what I'm saying. Like I've had about 4 or 5 of this exact occurrence with players telling me I'm breaking a rule when really they just don't understand the rules. And instead of playing the game, they're in local chatting, and it ends up getting them killed. It ends up getting their friend killed. And they're just accusing me of RBs. They're probably going to go make a ticket. And the whole thing is just a really silly, toxic interaction. And it all results from them just not even bothering to read the basic rules. And it's just sad, So hopefully this video will help some people. Read the rules, please. Just know the rules before you come to GP and before you start territory challenging people. This person's attacking after they 4-called, which is also a rule break, but I'm not going to bother making a ticket on them because they're new, and I think that they're learning and they'll figure it out. But maybe they'll watch this video and learn that way, or anyway. Hopefully this helps other people understand this stuff before they come to GP and can avoid, again, it'll help you survive and it'll help you avoid some tickets. This is another kind of a strange one here. This player, actually, I've seen them around quite a bit, and we had a pretty good little challenge here. Rex v Rex territory contest. It's pretty good. They try to do the little bone break and, like, you know, sway back and forth nonsense, but that never works. It's easy to deal with, as you can see what I do here. He gets some little tail nips in, but I can just pop deep rumble and turn around and face tank him now. It's not a big deal. They bone broke and trying to do the little sway back and forth, but you can see it's pretty easy to avoid, and I easily defeat the Rex in this territory challenge. And after the fight, they're a decent fighter, you know, decent Rex player. And like I say, I've seen them around a lot. But what's really weird is that after the interaction here, after the territory contest, they fork call, which is fine, and I let them go. And I'm now going to escort them out of the whole POI. So at the top right it says Grand Plains, and I walk this Rex all the way from this point all the way down here. Now it's still Grand Plains, and a lot of players lately have been pretending to leave, but then they don't leave. So they'll like come to this area right here, and then they come back. And I don't really know why they're doing that, if they don't understand. It seems like this person just didn't understand that they were out of the POI. Maybe they don't realize that it's still Grand Plains. I mean, it says it right in the top right still, but they think it's Young Grove maybe. I don't know what they thought, but they were now telling me that I needed to leave. But they're not supposed to be drinking, they're not supposed to be chatting, they're not supposed to be doing anything but making an undeviated path to the nearest exit. And instead of doing that, this person wants to argue with me and wants to tell me that I'm the one that's supposed to leave. So I'm really patient here. I do a number of 3 calls. I back off. I'm trying to not kill the player because I know it can be difficult to grow a Rex. But they just want to be stubborn, and all they have to do is leave. And instead, they decide to attack me. So I'm going to have to just go ahead and kill them, because sometimes that's what it takes. You know, if they're going to be that stubborn, then sometimes you just need to have a hard lesson to be learned. But that's the video, guys. You know, please read the rules. It'll help you survive. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. I'll see you out there in Gondola. Goodbye.